So welcome everyone. I must say I'm so happy to see so many faces here. I'm also happy to see myself here. I've been quite ill for the past week and I was praying that I would be better so I was able to be here today to speak to you. And here I am. I wanted to start by saying that in all of our lives we experience events, some good, some not so good, some big, some important events, some things that impact on our lives personally, and other things that are so significant that they impact not only on our lives, but have the potential of impacting on many millions of lives. Now, an example of that would have been, if we think back to 2,000 years ago, the birth of Jesus Christ was such an event. It was such a significant, such a life-changing event. But at that time, how many people recognized the importance and the significance of that event? When we move to the present day, we look back and many millions of people pride themselves on the mention of his name and the association of Jesus. But at the time, how many people recognized the importance of that event? According to the Bible, there were three wise men. Three wise men, but the rest of the population remained ignorant of the importance of that and the significance of that birth that impacted on millions and millions of lives. Now, the date that we're celebrating today is of importance and significance like that day. Now, why am I saying that? Is because all of the religions of the past have spoken of a great day, a day that some have referred to as a day when God would walk upon the earth, a day, for the Buddhists as an example, they will be speaking about the fifth Buddha, the Maitreya. In Islam, there would be reference to the Mahdi and Ghaem and the return of Imam Hussein. For Christianity, you know, there would be reference to the coming of the time of the Father. This is today. This is today. Now, when Jesus was asked, how would the people know a true prophet? I'm sure we're all aware of his response. His response was that by their fruits you will know them. So I want us to take a few minutes to look at what are the fruits of Baha'u'llah. First of all, if we look at what is the mission of the Bahai Faith, what is the goal? In Christianity, the main theme was love and forgiveness. In Judaism, it's justice. In Islam, it's submission to the will of God. In this day, it's unity. The whole theme of the Bahai Faith is a theme of unity. And that unity falls into three main aspects. The first one is that God is one. Whatever name we call him, whether we call him Allah, Jehovah, or God, or whatever name we attribute to him, there's only one creator. That's the first aspect of this unity. The second is that religion is essentially one. There's one religion. There's a theme that runs through all of the religions. And God reveals his message to mankind because he loves us from time to time according to the requirements of the age, and because out of his love for us to help us grow materially and spiritually. The differences, I believe, are man-made. They're not God-made. Why would God create different religions that cause all the fighting and arguing and killing? There's this central theme that runs through all the religions. So that's the second aspect of the unity. Now, the third aspect is that mankind is one. Mankind is one. Whatever our religion, whatever our colour of our skin, whatever language we speak, whatever beliefs we hold, as Baha'u'llah says, there's one planet and there's one people. So this is the theme, this is the goal of the Bahai Faith, to bring about unity. That's the whole purpose of the Bahai Faith. Now, when we look at, well, what another fruit would be, well, what has Baha'u'llah achieved since his birth? So 200 years, we say, well, what has been achieved during that time? Well, first of all, the Bahai Faith is recognized as the second most widespread religion in the world. So the second most widespread. What does that mean? It means that there are Baha'is in every country, in every major territory, in cities, in towns. You know, there are Baha'is that are widely spread around the world. Baha'is are attracting people from all backgrounds, from different religious backgrounds, from different cultural backgrounds, from different social status, and everyone is attracted to the Bahai Faith from different backgrounds and different beliefs and different countries, and you know, they're just attracted in that one way. We're building this united community. So that's one of the things that the Bahai Faith is doing. Now, the second thing is that we are involved in lots of social and economic programs. I have limited time, so I can't go into a whole list of things, but we can discuss it maybe at a later time, and maybe there'll be questions afterwards and so on. But Baha'is are very much involved in programs to do with education, to do with young children. We have youth empowerment programs. There are many, many programs that Baha'is are involved in, you know, cleaning of the environment and things of this nature. So this is just to give you an idea of some of the things that Baha'is are involved in and what are the fruits of the teachings of Baha'u'llah. Now, I want to move forward to a little bit about the life of Baha'u'llah. Now, what I'm going to say to you now is going to be quite challenging for you to imagine, but 40 years of the life of Baha'u'llah was spent in prison and exile. He was a prisoner, he was exiled, he was beaten, he was chained. He suffered for 40 years of his life. Now, it will be difficult for you to imagine some of the conditions that I will share with you, because we will always use our own point of reference. What is the nearest thing that we've experienced to that? But one of the things that Baha'u'llah endured is he spent several months in a prison, which was really a dungeon called the Sayar, and which is known as the Black Pit. He had a very satisfied with imprisoning him, but at one time he had a chain around his neck and his arms that weighed over 100 pounds. And he had to endure that for quite a long period of time. Now, if you can imagine having a weight of that size around your neck and on your shoulders every minute of every day of every week, week after week. Now, the reason I'm mentioning these things is, imagine if we can imagine being in a situation like that, how would you feel? How would you feel? Would you feel confident? Would you feel broken spirit? You know, would your attention be on the well-being of other people, or would it be focused on your own self? Now, all of these things were happening to Baha'u'llah. He was also exiled from country to country. One of the rulers that he wrote to was Queen Victoria. And this is, and just listen to the language, how he addresses her. And remember his condition, or his material condition. He says, "O Queen in London, incline thine ear unto the voice of thy Lord, the Lord of all mankind. All that hath been mentioned in the Gospel hath been fulfilled." So that's how he addressed Queen Victoria. "He, mighty bell, hath appeared in the form of him who is the most great name, and the fingers of the will of thy Lord, the most exalted, the most high, told it out in the heavens of immortality in his name, the all-glorious." Now, Napoleon III wasn't as wise as Queen Victoria, and his response was, he said, "If this man is God, I am two gods." Now, Baha'u'llah addressed him and he said, because of his arrogance and the treatment of his people and so on, he says, "Thy kingdom shall..." Now, I'm not an historian, but if you look at the life of Napoleon, he did fall from his power. He lost everything, and he died at the age of 51 of stomach cancer. So that was Napoleon's ending. I just want to share with you a couple more very briefly. He wrote to the rulers of America, and again the tone, "Hearken ye, O rulers of America, and the presidents of the republics therein, unto that which the dove is warbling on the branch of eternity. Pope Pius IX, O Pope, render the veils asunder. He who is your all those who have long searched for words of hope. It accepts great prophets from before, it destroys no other creeds and leaves all doors open. I discovered in the Bahai teachings the real spirit of Christ, so often denied and misunderstood. Unity instead of strife, hope instead of condemnation, love instead of hate, and a great reassurance for all men." So these are just a few things out of life. It's not so inspiring, and you probably wouldn't remember those things, but these were two aspects of the life of Baha'u'llah that I wanted to share with you. Now, before I sign off, I'd just like to say that the question I think all of us should be asking ourselves at this point is this a noble goal? Is this a worthwhile goal to bring unity to the planet? And if it is, what can we do? What can we do personally to bring about this goal? So thank you very much for listening, and we'll continue with the program now.